Okay, today I'm doing a video on a solar install that I did on my camper. This is a 2021 Runaway Range Runner. I was lucky enough to find a used one because the wait time on if you buy one of these new is like 6 months. And one of the first things that I wanted to do was solar. I live in South Florida, so I wanted to do enough solar so that I could run the air conditioner for a decent amount of time, at least overnight. So started doing some research and saw some of the videos that some of the other guys were doing, and most of them were doing 400 watts of solar and 200 amp batteries. So that's what I decided to do. First thing that I wanted to do was get my panel, and while doing research on panels, I came across the bifacial panels, which are panels that charge on both the top and the bottom. They actually have solar cells on both sides, and they can be up to 30% more efficient than a regular panel. The way they work is you get the direct sun from the top, and then anything that bounces off the white roof gets picked up from the bottom. So that's what I got. This panel right here is made by Astronorgy, and it measures 80 by 40 inches and it weighs 65 pounds. It's pretty big, but you're only using one panel instead of two. And it's actually cheaper. This panel was $239. I found it locally. If you have to have something like this shipped, that can be expensive. So I went with that. This particular panel puts out 405 watts from the top and 265 watts from the bottom. As far as mounting it, I mounted it the same way that the other guys were doing by using muffler clamps. I primed the muffler clamps and painted them to keep them from rusting, and then I cut a 1/8 thick strip of aluminum on top just for extra support before I put the nuts on. So that's the way it was mounted. And then ran the cables and put some Eternabond tape on it and ran it to this gland which goes into the camper. Okay, so coming off the solar panel, it goes down through these wires, and it goes down to this 20 amp circuit breaker, and from that breaker I can turn the solar panel on and off. From that breaker, it goes over to my charge controller. This is a Renogy 40 amp MPPT controller that I mounted on the side of the camper, and then from there it goes to this 50 amp breaker, which goes into the battery. Now, this being a pretty small camper, I don't have a lot of room, and so what I wanted to do is maximize as much space as possible. What I did is I built this battery box out of 5/8 plywood, and then I covered it with this gray material to kind of match the rest of the trailer, the rest of the camper. And by doing that, I can attach a lot of the components to it to save a lot of room. I've got the battery master disconnect. I've got the breaker. I've got the fuse output box, the battery monitor, the inverter, and the breaker for the inverter. So as you can see, that's my whole solar on that corner right there, really not taking up a lot of room. So the battery that I got is a Power Queen lithium iron phosphate battery. Saw a lot of reviews online with this on this battery. It's got really good warranty, and it's got grade A cells. So I went ahead and got it. I've been happy with it so far. And this was the most expensive part of the build. This battery was $650 delivered. So going over to the DC side, coming off the battery, it goes into this 50 amp breaker, which feeds the fuse box. This particular fuse box has 6 outputs on it. I'm only using one of them right now to feed this panel. And on this panel I have the USB ports on this side. This one right here is the 12-volt cigarette lighter type output, and I use this output right here to plug in my alpha-cool refrigerator. So anything that you can run off of DC is going to be a lot more efficient than having to go through the inverter and going through AC. You're going to lose some power there. As you can see, the difference on the wires and the DC side compared to the wires on the AC side are a lot thicker, a lot more power going through them. Okay, so coming off the AC side, coming off the battery, it goes into this 200 amp circuit breaker, and then from there it goes into the inverter. This is a 2000 watt pure sine inverter. It's made by WZR-ELB, and this is the second inverter that I've got from this company. I've got a 1000 watt inverter that I've had for a few years, and I've had pretty good luck with it, so I went ahead and got this one. So coming off the inverter, I went to Harbor Freight and I bought an extension cord, a heavy duty extension cord. It's about 25 feet long, and it's got 3 10-gauge conductors on it. And from there, it goes over to this rotary switch, and this is the switch that's going to feed your outlet, your AC outlet. This is your AC outlet right now, and on that outlet, I've got the air conditioner hooked up to it. I've got the TV. I've got the microwave, and I've got some rope lights hooked up to that. So when I select 2 on that rotary switch, that AC outlet is being fed from the inverter. If I go to 0, nothing is being fed, and then if I go on 1, the outlet is being fed by shore power. So as far as performance is concerned, I've been pretty happy with it so far. I can tell you that in South Florida, in the middle of summer, I can get about 7.5 hours of the air conditioner running at night just off the battery before the inverter goes into low voltage and shuts off. So for me, 7.5 hours of air conditioning at night is pretty good in the middle of the summer. Obviously, if you're in a cooler climate, you're going to get more runtime. Different location, you're going to get more runtime, but I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty much what I expected. I've got, as far as the cost, I've got a little bit over $1,600 in all the parts that I bought. I did all the work myself. Most of the stuff I bought either on Amazon or on eBay. The solar panel, like I said earlier, I bought locally. You can save a few bucks if you can find it locally if you want to get that panel, because the shipping on something like that is going to be kind of expensive. As far as the cables is concerned, bought them all on eBay. They were all pre-cut with ends on them, which made the installation a lot easier. The charge controller was on sale for $100 when I bought it. If you shop around online, you can get some pretty good deals. So that's pretty much it. I'm happy with the way it's turned out so far.